It's time now to bring in our State House insiders. Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist, Antoine Seawright, our Democratic strategist. Guys, in-house tonight. Nice seeing both of you in person.
We're not in cars tonight. There we go.
It's good to be inside.
Yeah, good to be inside as an insider.
Let's talk about what's going on over at the State House. The House passing an energy bill. This bill is meant to make building power plants easier, but some say it's going to limit environmental oversight. What are you guys hearing?
There's a mix on that's going on right now. There was a story that came out the other day about whether or not we're going to have the level of environmental oversight. But you have to keep in mind, we're looking at cleaner versions of power now in the state of South Carolina. Coal plants are going out. You're talking nuclear. You're talking natural gas. So there are some of those elements that are going to be there. But the most important thing to keep in mind, JR, is the fact that we have a growing state. In the last 17 years, 1 million people have become South Carolinians. By the time we get to 2040, we're expecting another 1 million. And we've got big business and high-tech business coming into this state. And those are big power users. And what we don't want to become is California on a bad day.
Well, I can tell you what, business is good, growth is good, but the health and maintenance of people is just as important. And I know Republicans tend to be anti-regulation. That's fine. However, I do think that there needs to be some sort of environmental oversight because the unintended consequences of legislation and application tend to haunt communities that look like mine more so than any other communities. The way they stick certain businesses and certain type of entities in certain areas is 2 to 3 generations more, and you see the sickness and illnesses, diseases, and deaths are a cause of some of that. However, about this legislation, how it starts out is not how it's going to end up. The Senate is going to put its own version of paper and markup to it, and then we'll see what happens.
And then you're going to have to also take into account that we've restructured a lot of things within state government. The state's new Department of the Environment is going to be needing to have that assigned to it. So you're going to see some big changes after we've broken apart DHEC now.
Jumping to the race for governor for 2026 and perhaps the shortest campaign ever. Thomas Ravenel, the former state treasurer, dropping out after only 4 days. A surprise to you guys?
Unserious people do very serious acts like drop out just in the nick of time.
I mean, you've got a guy who has 3 young kids. That's a really tough thing to do. You have to keep in mind, we are only 16 months away now from the primaries. And so there's going to be a lot of talk about a lot of people who are going to be looking to get your vote. And this is the time when they're all kind of testing the waters right now. I think he put his foot in the water and realized it was way too cold for a former state treasurer who had some other personal issues to jump into a race with young kids.
All right, Monday will mark 4 weeks since President Trump started his second term. There's been a flurry of executive orders, but perhaps the one thing that's being talked about the most is the DOJ team going in and making cuts, saying this needs to be cut, this needs to be cut. A lot of controversy with this, guys. Antoine, is this going to impact South Carolinians in any way?
Well, co-president Musk's illegal activities, being able to access public information is not only dangerous, but it's a threat to the foundation of who we are as Americans. Under no circumstance, if it were a Democratic president, would Republicans be sitting on the sideline acting as if it's legal. I don't want Elon Musk and some 18, 19, 21-year-olds having access to my information for God knows what reason. And if they were really serious about accounting, then you wouldn't ask computer programmers to go in and evaluate government, particularly for people who do not and have never served in government. I think it's dangerous, and I expect Republicans to provide checks and balances as they would any other administration.
There should always be checks and balances, JR. That's a reality of this. But you also have to take a look at when Elon Musk went in and took over Twitter. He is actually.
Twitter's not the government.
I understand that, Antoine, but what we have to look at is a man's track record and what it is that he's done. So he has a track record of, yes, he lowered the employment there, but he raised revenue and he raised profits. And the reality is we are living right now off of what you and Antoine and I pay in taxes every single year.
Dave.
And the question is it being used efficiently?
Dave, I will never go for an argument that government should be ran like a business because government is not about profit. Government is about people. Secondarily, who is Elon Musk reporting to? Who is he reporting
to? The President of the United States.
Okay, has he been sanctioned? Is he certified to do this? What credibility does he have? Twitter and the United States government is 2 different things. You want to talk about South Carolina? You want to talk about these freezers? Ask the University of South Carolina. Ask Benedict College. Ask some of these nonprofits who funding may not get to where it needs to be to help people because of a private citizen who happened to be a billionaire, unchecked power going into government saying this should not work.
But Dave, the argument here by Republicans is that the American people voted for this because Donald Trump campaigned on this, saying that he would have a team like this Doge team, headed up by Elon Musk, looking for budget issues.
A majority of Americans voted for Donald Trump. If you don't like the 4-year, $3.2 billion contract that you gave to Donald Trump, sorry, that's who you voted for. You've got an opportunity in 3 more years to choose somebody else to lead the country. But in this time period right now, this is who a majority of Americans asked to be in office.
South Carolina had its information stolen several years ago while Governor Haley was the governor. We have yet to see what the long-term impact of that is going to be. Who is handling that information? What is Elon Musk doing with taxpayer-sensitive information? He's going to agency by agency, unchecked, not sanctioned, with
He is sanctioned by the president, Antoine. The sanctioning is from the boss who we all elected.
What clearances does he have to have access to our personal information?
Well, there's a great question on that, and the question is, has he been given those by the president of the United States?
But why has that question not been answered? That should be.
Hasn't been asked enough.
Yes,
And
everybody's asking. Even Republicans are concerned
case,
about Elon Musk having access to personal information.
So what has to be done in that particular case is put the president into check. That's why we have 3 branches of government. If you don't like it, legislators can legislate it out. Or the judicial branch can step in, which is what they're designed to do.
You mean the Republican Congress, the Republican Senate, and the Republican presidency is going to check the Republican co-president? I don't think so. Not to mention his conflict of interest and the billions of dollars he gets from the federal government every single year. Again, if this were Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, people would be losing their god-doggone mind about this.
But they had Kamala Harris and Joe Biden,
and we didn't have a co-president having access to private information.
What we did have was somebody who didn't have efficiency in government like we need to be able to have.
All right, Dave, Antoine, we'll leave the conversation there. Of course, this is going to be discussed in the days and the weeks ahead. We'll have much more on our website, WLTX.com.